Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of UIGISC Team I Am A to Z. And I'm excited to hear from this brother you're about to hear from. I've known him for I think a couple decades now.
Yeah.
Yeah, watched his uh, path to success and his progression, and just glad and happy to have him on board with the whole UIGISC project and really meeting the needs of the Team I Am, by the role he's fulfilling. So I'd like to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Al-Yassa, who volunteered to become the facilitator of the Rabu um, masterclass by becoming a VIP member. So this masterclass, I've not seen one like it. I'm not currently doing it. That's for reasons I can't discuss right now, but I'm very much in tune with it. But um, I'd like to hear from you, Alias. So let's kick it off, and I may ask you some questions later on.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Hey, I'm happy to be here, man. It's been a while.
So tell us about yourself, where you're from, who you
Okay.
are, what you do.
Yeah. So my name's Al-Yassa, everybody. Al-Yassa means Elijah. Um,
Nice.
let's see. So grew up in the Maryland, DC area, decided to stay there and go to college. I went to Howard University. Studied medical technology because I was supposed to be the doctor in the family. My cousin ended up being the lawyer. Matter of fact, she's actually friends with Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. They went to Harvard Law together. Um, but yeah, after graduating, I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted to go to pursue a pharmacy degree or PharmD or go to med school. And I was like, you know what? Once I graduate, I said, this is it. Let me just get into industry. And I know I didn't want to work in a hospital setting, so I ended up working in the pharmaceutical industry, making vaccines. So the bulk of my career has been in the pharmaceutical industry, making vaccines.
Oh wow. So and is that what you're currently doing today?
No, I just transitioned in March, but in terms of so in all, I have 17 years in the industry, but that's only because I left the industry for 12 years. So had I stayed, this would be my 29th year in the
Oh wow.
industry. Um, so I was part of the team to make the hepatitis A vaccine that affects the, protects against cirrhosis. Uh, I touched the measles and mumps vaccine, um, chickenpox vaccine, shingles vaccine, and most recently the Gardasil HPV vaccine, which prevents cervical cancer um, and small cell cancer. So even head and neck cancer, that vaccine can help prevent. So in March, though, I transitioned and now I run a team that handles clinical trial data that helps our therapies get onto market for patients. We know that there's a lot of people that are anti-vaccine. I get it. I know, I went through that. I went through that struggle myself, coming up in the 90s, listening to things and going to Howard University, and then, but when I see, there's a place for holistic medicine. There's a place for Western medicine, in my opinion. And I've seen the effects. I mean, my mother didn't get the shingles vaccine as prevention, but she ended up contracting shingles. It was very painful for her. But hey, to each his own.
Right.
To each his own. But right now I
So
handle.
what
Go ahead.
okay. Now I say what do you do now?
Yeah, so right now I manage a team that handles clinical trial data. So we support our company's teams around the globe that are doing clinical trials on oncology or cancer therapies. Um, Extending the life of patients and giving them a better quality of life. So we take the data, we make sure it's right from the that people are inputting the correct data, nothing's wrong. Because as you know, if you're on any kind of therapy, if you mess up the dosage, you could be done. So we make sure the data is accurate for people. And then it also helps the regulatory authorities approve anything that's in discovery. But the unique thing about what I do is our former CEO was an African American man from Philadelphia, uh, and he ended up being the CEO of the company for 10 years. But he had a mission, and that mission was to help create a non-degree pathway to uh, family sustaining jobs. Okay. Um, One of the things you see in urban centers like Philadelphia, DC, New York, depending on where you are in New York, Chicago, is that you might work at Rite Aid or Walgreens or what have you, but it's not really cutting it. That's why the masses were pushing for a $15 minimum uh, hourly wage, right? Um, so what he did, he said, you know what, we got to take it back to the time where a person can work a blue collar job and still take care of his whole family, his or her own family, And he said, you know what, let's take a look at what we're doing. Let's take a look at the overall business. Can someone without a degree do this particular part of the job? If so, let's pull it out. That way, if you have a degree or an advanced degree, you work on the strategy of the business versus doing the mundane things. So he created that pathway. He got, some of his peers like Ken Chenault, who used to run American Express, and the CEO of IBM and CEO of GE. And they said, well, hey, let's create these pathways so that the average person in America can get one job that can take care of their family versus working two or three jobs. So the talent that I lead, 86% of them are non-degree talent. Um,
Wow, nice.
and 24% of those, that 86%, are going back to get their degree or finish their degree. Some people might have only been one or two classes away from their degree. Other people are just starting, saying, I'm going to test the waters and get an associate's and see how I like it and see how I can progress that way. So the reason why this is important to me, it was his vision, but it's a vision that I crafted before he announced what he was going to do. He announced what he was going to do in 2020. In 2016, I wrote down in my journal, I do all my goals in October. I take the entire month of October to do my goals, finish them by November, and then start working on them so I can get a jump start on everybody else in the new year. So I wrote down in 2016 that my purpose in life was to lead people to financial stability and then wealth. So stability first and then wealth. And here I am doing that for this team. So
Beautiful. And I think that's in part why our paths align
yeah,
because Zena and I's purpose is also to help those in need by giving them avenues where they can make money and take care of themselves.
yep,
So I know we were a part of uh, a great movement back in the day.
hmm,
Have the same mentor that got us started, that showed us that what was possible, um,
yeah,
and so that leads into uh, the importance of Rabu's masterclass because uh, people need a direct path or a step by step what to do and how to do it. Rabu's masterclass is on a whole nother level. It's a guided step by step weekly uh, uh,
yep,
uh, expectation, a journey and expectation of what it is you really want and how to get there. And I'm so happy because as an engineer, you're so specific. I call you urchins of urchins
hmm,
because when you dive into something, you take it apart, put it back together, understand it. And so when you volunteer to facilitate Rabu's masterclass for our team, um, I knew you were the perfect one for the job. And I know there's some other folks coming in that want to shadow you on the back end and take it even further. I just appreciate you stepping in. So please share with us, please share with us so far, what you've experienced. I know you're going into you're in week 6, and you have a unique approach about how you do each week's lessons. Can
Yeah,
you share some of that with us?
yeah. I'll share this part, and then I guess we can go back to how all this came about. But
Sure.
uh, yeah, I mean, I'm just honored to be able to do it. You know, we talk about writing things down. I remember I don't know when it was, but it was probably 2 years ago. Um, yeah, it's probably 2020 or 2021. In my other journal, I was just flipping through because I always flip through to see like what I've accomplished. And one of the things in there I wrote down was to meet Rabu. That was in there. Because I think, what did you say? You said you just told me to do a brain dump one day. You said, man, just write everything down and get it out of your head, get it on paper. And I did. And it was, meet Rabu. And I got to do that at the launch of the UIGISC card. Um, but yeah, you know, being able to do this in this manner, meaning following the principles, right? It's laid out in a certain structure. As Paul J. Meyer would say, spaced repetition learning. I've only heard that from him, and via Rabu. So what I like to do is, since we're holding our class here on Saturdays, uh, so I like to let's go back to how we started. You announced that the class would be Saturday. The first master class, mastermind, would be on a Saturday. I said, okay, so I'm gonna use Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get the work done. As some of you know, the instructions in the masterclass are to do it 3 times. Some exercises you don't need to, but again, Paul J. Meyer, spaced repetition learning, you do it 3 times. So I said, you know what? I'm going to use Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to do my 3 exercises so that by Saturday it's already complete and we can anticipate the next one. That's how I go about doing it. Um, and just coming to the call prepared. What have I gotten out of it so far? It's helped me in all aspects of
Mhm.
life, even work. Right. Uh, I spent many years of my career as what they will call an individual contributor. Right. You're a subject matter expert. You do something, you get it done. You don't have anybody reporting to you. You work collaboratively with teams. Get work done through others via teams. Right. Now in this role, I go from 0 people reporting to me to 12 people reporting to me overnight. So now
Wow.
I'm managing personalities. I'm managing, people's time. I'm
Right.
managing office conflict. I'm managing, uh, trying to get the best out of the team. So what this mastermind has helped me do, it's helping me grow and stretch because I got to be able to stretch to be able to do that. And it's helping me build that muscle of, number one, the master class will teach you discipline, right? Because you have to be regimented. If you're going to do it 3 times, you got to get it done, and not in a way that some of us may always do things where we're rushing at the last minute and cramming.
Right.
um, I heard Venus Williams say this recently on a TikTok video. She said, through discipline you have freedom.
Wow.
And that is so, so true. She said, through discipline, you have freedom. And then you can have the time. That's how you create time to do the things you want to do. So it's helping me uh, reprimand people faster, right? It's nip things in the bud faster, um, which saves us time, energy, and resources on the job. Because let's say someone does something that's out of compliance, that might get a study shut down. That might get
Right.
yeah. So the patients lose their therapy, company loses millions of dollars, if not billions. So I have to handle things faster. So that's a direct correlation so far with work. With home life, it's really me taking the time to reflect on what type of family life I have and what type of family life I want. because as you know, Andre, like you said, we got together early on in a team atmosphere, by the same mentor. And you know, sometimes you spend a lot of time chasing the dollar, and I know in my case
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I missed college friends' weddings because I had to go to the event. And if I
Yeah.
miss the event,
Yeah.
I might miss the
Yeah.
nugget to take me to the top.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm not going to get the experience of seeing my friend get married again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I totally understand.
Yep.
So you shared a very important story with me. And this is how, for me, how timing in life and postulates,
Hmm.
decisions, can shape your destiny. All right. You have a story to tell us about Paul
Yeah.
J. Meyer, which is the foundation of
Hmm.
Rabu's masterclass.
Yep.
Can you share that with us?
Yeah, happily. So I told you that I took a hiatus from the pharmaceutical industry from 2006 to 2017, right? So that's 11, almost 12 years. I took a break from pharmaceuticals. I didn't work for another company. What I did in that time frame, though, is I did independent things, right? So I focused on my family. I played tennis. I raised the kids up playing tennis. Um, I got my insurance license at the time. I was a small business consultant, so I would help business owners get capital for their business. I was help. This was from
Okay.
2006 to 2012. So
Okay.
I had about 30 clients and I would get them capital. My eye doctor, she went to school with my sister at Temple University, wanted to open an eye practice. I ended up getting her 80 grand so she can go do that, and she's my eye doctor
Okay.
today. Um, Things of that nature. So, but the common thing I found with all my clients was they might get capital, but they didn't really have a cash flowing business to make the payments if they use that capital, number one, and to keep things going.
Okay.
The second thing that they all had in common is they all wanted to invest in some kind of real estate for long-term wealth. The third thing I noticed is that none of them had the right insurance products to protect their income. We don't think about that. We think about making the money, but we
Okay.
never think about protecting the ability to make money, because that's our number one. That's our number one asset. We are our number one asset, and our ability to make money is our number one asset, and we got to protect that. And that's where insurance comes in. So I got my insurance license, life, health, and Medicare, um, at that time. And out of the 30 clients, took about 15 of them, and we created an investment group, property owners association, we called it. So again, this is 2006, 2000 to 2012. What happened during that time? Well, real estate was hot, but the economic downturn was coming, right? So 2006,
Okay.
2007, Wall Street knew, but we didn't know. So we were still buying, right? We were buying lots in up here in
Yeah.
Philadelphia. We were buying lots because we had this idea to build what you see now going up all over these urban centers, where you got commercial at the bottom and and residential at the top, and everybody can live, work, and
Yes.
play in the same neighborhood, right? So this was
Yes.
2006, where I had this idea and I had a partner, and we embarked on doing it. Got a bunch of land, worked with the city. City gave us, lots for $1 and said, "You better build. You don't, we coming after you." So we did
Oh
that.
wow.
2000, because you got to have vision, right? You got to have the neighborhoods buy into what you want to do, so that they see themselves in it. You're not just coming to take what they have. So we had that plan. Um, what happened was the economic crisis. So everything was on pause for a while. We had to pause. We couldn't get capital from banks. I had raised like $450,000 from private people that I knew in my circle, um, and things got stalled. So during that time when things got stalled, people change. Partner ended up doing some things behind my back. Um, I had to keep the group together. The people that I raised capital from, kept them, satisfied. But later on, we just had to split up. Ended up having to sue that partner. But 2012, 2014, the buildings got built. It's a whole new neighborhood down there in Philadelphia. It's just a mile south of Temple University, a mile north of City Hall, and the art museum is off to the east. So beautiful
Okay.
area now if you go look at it. And even though I didn't, that was like if we did everything as we should have, stayed according to plan,
Uh-huh.
it would have been a $30 million deal, and we would have been the poster boys of Philadelphia. We can go duplicate this in any city we wanted. Um,
Right.
so that's around 2010-ish,
Okay.
2012, 14, and had to sue him, all this other kind of stuff. And I actually I didn't know this at the time, but I guess I was depressed. I wasn't leaving the house. I wasn't going anywhere. I was just, doing online things, making money. Uh, I didn't understand. I didn't know. I just knew I was angry at him.
Right.
So,
Right.
but to your
Right.
point, while I had my insurance license, I used to subscribe to Success Magazine because we were both in the same network marketing company years ago. And they always, in
Right.
their magazine, they always sent a CD in their magazine. So I always listened to it. And one day I heard this interview. So Darren Hardy, the publisher of Success Magazine, did an interview with this old gentleman, Paul J. Meyer. Never heard of him. I'm a big Jim Rohn fan. Like Jim Rohn is my man. And
Right.
Paul J. Meyer, I'm like, all right, I'm going to listen anyway. And it was like a 20-minute interview, but the stuff he said on there, like you said, coincided with my life and things I was doing. Number one, Paul J. Meyer raised himself out of nothing with discipline and with insurance. He got into the insurance business before he got into personal development. And I'm listening to his story where now I play tennis. Paul J. Meyer, at the age of 40, decided to become a world champion tennis player and hired the best coaches, practiced daily, and he ended up winning for his age group in the state of Texas the championship. That was a
Wow.
goal. That was a goal of mine. I set a goal to win a USTA championship in whatever age group. Now granted, I set this goal in 2011 or 12. I got serious around 2014, and just recently I won the sectional championship, which is here in the Philadelphia and Delaware area, and now I go to the national championships in October in San Diego. So one step closer to my goal. Uh,
Nice.
but 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 Paul, so insurance, tennis, discipline, right? And I would listen to that because at that time I just got my insurance license, and this wasn't pretty insurance. This was knocking on doors, selling $300 policies, whatever you could to folks. Um,
Right.
and I would listen to that CD every day before I embarked on
Wow.
whatever I had to do for insurance. I would listen to that CD every day. I probably listened to that CD every day for a year and a half, 2 years. And remember, I told you I was away from the pharmaceutical industry, right? So I didn't have
Right.
that steady pharmaceutical income coming in. I was just, I was a business consultant making money from clients, and then I had to fall out with my partner. So all that dried up. Um, I wasn't working or anything like that. So I got into insurance, knocking on doors, selling policies, did that. I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to go the more traditional insurance route and go with like an agency or something. Well, I had an agency, an independent broker, but I was like, I got to do something where I'm in an office. So I ended up focusing on. I'll tell you what I did. I ended up going to what the common folks would call a welfare to work program, right? So every city
Okay.
has it. Every city has one. You go to the office, you get there, they help you work on your resume, you do this, you do that. Um, because I said, you know what, I'm gonna get back into the workforce. So Oh, and I'm skipping a whole lot, man, because I was making money online. Like
Right,
I built a big
right,
team.
right.
You know, I
Yeah,
so we can get to all that.
yeah. When I hear about the people that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
in
yeah.
your organization, and
Okay. Yeah,
blows
okay.
my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
So
Okay,
anyway, um, I went to one of these what they call workforce development programs, welfare to work, right? You got to show up there, you got to be there every day.
okay,
And if you're not there, you got to prove to them you were out there looking for a job. Right? That's how I had to
right,
humble myself and say, you know what, I got to do something, right? So I went to that program and I
right.
told myself, every day I'm going to apply for 10 insurance jobs and 10 pharmaceutical jobs. That's what I told myself, right? Went in there.
Okay,
I ended up getting with United Healthcare, right? Because I wanted to do insurance. I really didn't want to go back to pharma. So went with the temp agency, started selling AARP memberships, as a matter of fact. That's what I was selling. Making $300 a week,
wow,
$300 a week doing that.
wow.
And then I got the opportunity to go to work for Blue Cross Blue Shield to sell Medicare. So
Okay,
did that for $400 a week, right? And then so the first job was 2 months, the next job was 3 months, and then I got a call from my former pharmaceutical company. They called me and said, "Hey, we're expanding. Would you take a look at us again?" I said, "Okay." Now, granted, this is 12 years away from pharma,
right.
but I kept good relationships.
Good.
That was the key. So I went. I said, "Sure, I'll take a look." I went, looked. They said, "Okay. Only thing we got is." It took about a year. They said, "Only thing we got is third shift, Friday to Tuesday. So that means you're working every weekend from midnight to 8:30." I said, "No problem."
Wow.
I said, "No problem." So here I was making $300 a week, then $400 a week, to about $900 a week. And then I I said, look, I need to learn some more of the job. So I need to work overtime. So I
Right.
made a deal for myself and the other two people that got hired with me for us to be able to work 3 days a week overtime. So I go
Okay.
from 900 to $1,500 a week, right?
Right.
And then I had a plan, still got relationships. I left that job and got into a higher uh, paying job within 6 months at the same company. And then just been on this upward rise at the company. So long story short, I went from in the pharmaceutical industry, coming out of college, making $45,000 a year. You know, you do that for 10 years. Now I might be up at 60,000, right? I
Okay.
leave, have this big multi-million-dollar project go bust, and come back, humble myself, and making $300 a week to $1,500 a week. Jump on the salary side. In 6 months now, I'll go from just starting to $80,000 a year. This is 2017. Okay, 2018, I get a promotion. Now I'm making maybe 90, just under $90,000 a year, and now six figures. So in 5 years, yeah, because I went back in 2017. So in 5 years, making from $300 a week to um, six figures. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm amazed
yeah,
that how fast it all's happened for you. Like, we would talk every time there was a promotion, which was like
yeah, yeah,
it seemed like every quarter there was a new promotion, or you were moving up. So
yeah,
I'm excited for you, and I'm happy for you because you're well deserved.
yeah. Thanks.
But I want you to share with us that the connection with J.
Yes, yeah.
Paul
I'm sorry.
Meyer.
I'm sorry. I got so. When I tell stories, man, I
I
tell stories.
understand. No, I want you to tell your story. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. So let's go back to the connection of Paul J. Meyer. So
yeah.
after listening to that tape for a year and a half, 2 years, because that was very instrumental in me making this rise as well, right? I
Okay,
was like, how can I find some more of this guy's stuff? Because like Jim Rohn, I got like over 80 Jim Rohn recordings. Like that is my guy.
nice.
But then when I heard Paul J. Meyer, I was like, how can I find this stuff? So I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking. Can't find anything on Paul J. Meyer. Nothing. Then I found out that he exclusively only sold his material to insurance companies, and prepaid legal. Those are the only
Okay.
places that had his material. And so that's like from when I first heard it in 2012 to last year, 2022.
Right.
I kind of gave up searching. Kind of gave up searching. And
Right.
then something said I was scrolling LinkedIn and I saw this presentation. Somebody posted something. No, 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 no. I got the bug and I started Googling Paul J. Meyer again.
Okay.
Okay, time has passed. Somebody had to put something out about this guy somewhere,
Right.
you know? And I saw this link and I clicked on it. It took me to LinkedIn, and this woman did a presentation on, it was called it wasn't like Paul J. Meyer Systems. It was called, what's his company called? Success Leadership Institute, I think is what it's called. I think that was
Okay.
his company. And Success Motivation Institute, something like that. So anyway, I see her do this short video on the Paul J. Meyer system of learning and development. I'm like, wow. So then I dig a little deeper, still can't find anything I can just click and buy. I can't find anything. And I contact her on LinkedIn. I said, hey, I'm interested in Paul J. Myers stuff. You're a licensed consultant? She was like, yes, I love Mr. Myers, blah, 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 blah. How do you know about him? And I'm like, I got this old Success magazine thing and I can't find this stuff. She's like, yeah, only consultants can sell it. So I said, okay. So she said, I got a coaching. She said, I'm a coach. I'm licensed through his system. Um, you can hire me. I just finished one coaching session, a group coaching, but you can have me one-on-one, or you can do a group. I got another session coming up. It'll be like $2,500 for 6 months, I guess, or whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Then I'm getting into professional programs at work. So I'm like, I don't want to do the work stuff and then try to do this. So I kind of kept her on hold. And every once in a while we touch bases. And matter of fact, she called me like 2 weeks ago, and it's still in the back of my mind. Like, okay, I'm gonna get my bonus. I'm gonna just pay for the coaching and be done with it, right? Because I know I need it, especially leading this group that I'm leading. And then all while this is going on, I'm watching you and Zena travel the world. I'm watching you. I mean, because you exposed me to UIGISC in 2020, and I'm like, no, I'm over here doing this, Andre. I'm good. And I'm watching you travel and this and that, and I'm looking, but I'm not really jumping in because I feel like I got my own stuff going on.
Right.
And I just said, you know what, forget this man. This man just traveled the world for 45 days, 60 days. I've been saying I'm going to Dubai since 2006 and ain't make it yet. Like, this is ridiculous. Um, so I said, you know what, let me join. So I joined UIGISC. We talk about promotion. I got bonuses from work. I said, this is what I'm doing with the money. I'm putting in my insurance. And, I do a lot of what they call infinite banking with insurance products. So I
Sure.
said, let me put it there first. Let me put the money to work.
Yes.
I can use it as collateral, and now I can play the game.
Right.
So started getting into the different phases, and I said, okay. And he was like, hey man, you gotta be VIP. That's part of one of the requirements for ringer. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do that yet. I want to do this first. but I
Yeah.
got, but I got to listen. When I listen to you, I got the results that I've gotten. As much as I want to resist sometimes, but when I do truly listen and follow instructions, your wise counsel has not steered me wrong. So I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do it. I became VIP because at first it was in my mind. It was I only received ring earner. I mean, what was it? VIP as ring earner, right?
Yes.
Masterclass was ring earners, this, that, the other. And then I looked, I was like, wait a second, if you're VIP, you get masterclass. So I said, okay, what the heck? What the heck? I'm gonna go ahead and do VIP. And I did it. And then all of a sudden, Rabu's like, all right, guys, I'm redoing masterclass. If you ring earner, you VIP, you get the masterclass. It's time for us to do it again. I'm like, man, I'm VIP. I can do this. I can get in it. And then I listened to the first module. And he talks about Paul J. Meyer, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is what I was looking for, searching
Yes,
for, about to buy, you know, coaching from somebody who I don't know. I don't know if she's tested and proven,
right.
but I was ready to do that. And here it is from somebody that studied under Mr. Meyer face to face. Not only that, has his peer studied under Mr. Paul J. Meyer with his peers, whom, when he showed that first video, I know several of those peers. Like
Yes,
a gentleman went to my high school. He's one of the peers. Another gentleman was in a former company that we were all in,
yes,
and the third gentleman is right here in Philadelphia, who was one of my clients that I was helping get in capital.
yes.
And now, he went on to do amazing things, and it's all here, man. So that's the full circle moment where that little CD. At that time, Mr. Meyer was probably 80 something years old doing that interview, and now here I get the mother load of what he was teaching, that space repetition learning, that so many people, 6 degrees of separation, that I know have utilized it unbeknownst to me to become not only millionaires, but to become change agents in their area. Because the gentleman right here in Philadelphia is doing a lot of great things, man. He's created a training program that helps people get onto board of directors. Now imagine the
Nice.
kind of change that you can make when you are at the table, and that's what he's
Yes.
doing. So, uh, yeah, man, that's the full circle moment right there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, you have been facilitating the class now for 6 weeks. I think we got 10 more weeks to go.
Hmm.
And all of the team members that's engaged in it are just blown away. And your approach, like you guide uh, the members on what you've already shared, how you engage the process throughout the week. But then also on Saturday afternoons when we get together and you hear some of the cognitions or you hear
Yeah.
some of the aha moments or some of the things that people are putting in that's changing lives.
Hmm.
That's amazing. And I've said from the very beginning, you know, becoming a UIGISC Millionaire Circle ring earner um, carries more with it than that $14,000
Yeah.
encrusted gem encrusted ring. It carries so much more, and I've said that the Rabu's masterclass is the most under what do I want to say? It is the most under represented part of becoming a ringer, but it has the biggest impact if you engage it.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. It does, man. Like it, just my energy coming off of you know doing the master class. It's rubbing off on my wife, right? Usually,
Wow.
I handle all the household finances, everything,
Right.
uh, and well, I'll be honest with you, when I wasn't working, it was tough,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she was stay at home mom for so long, and
Yeah.
then that trust of, whoa, you can't handle the household anymore, and now I gotta go do something, and
Yeah.
that whole thing. So it takes
It's
time to
tough.
build that back up.
Yeah.
But and when I come to her with things like, nah, cash flow is fine, but having money is fine and paying bills is fine, but it's how you use the cash flow. Like I had to educate her on utilizing, policies as a form of banking for us.
Right.
Um, um, And now, with something else we're looking to do, which we, can pay off the house in 3 years and use it to really accelerate our retirement, you know,
Right.
um, usually where I meet resistance because it's something different,
Right.
that trust is there where it's like, okay, yeah, let's just do it. I don't understand it all, but let's go. You know,
Beautiful.
and that's great. And
Yeah.
that's a great feeling to have, because you can move faster. And I see that in you and Zena. That's what I see. Because for the long as long as I've known you, I've never really seen her participate in the other things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So support, participate, not her thing.
Right.
With this, and she's doing testimonials, and she's, leading calls, and she's chiming in on calls, and she's spearheading small teams, and I shouldn't even say small. I don't know how large they are, but spearheading teams. Like, I've never seen her do that with any of the other things that I've seen you participate with. So it's a whole different energy here, man, because I can feel it with my wife too.
Yes. Yes. And it's beautiful for me, of course. See, I've been together for 28 years,
Mhm.
and I can't believe I'm saying that. But anyway,
Yeah,
seeing her growth since we've been a part of UIGISC and her involvement and her just taking on a role has just been amazing for me. All right.
yeah, yeah.
So and I've seen other women in the group take such a position. Like it's in a way it's an independent position.
Hmm.
All right. They operate independently, but it's like it's just a beautiful thing to say to see. And I haven't listened in on that group in a while. I've been so busy, but I know their Women of Wealth group just does some amazing things with the different UIGISC platforms, and they're learning
Yeah.
how to trade individually and so on. So to wrap things up, I uh, I want to get your take on the masterclass. I know we can't share it here. You have to be a ring earner or a VIP to get the full grasp of what the masterclass offers. But tell us, what's your take, and what do you see going forward?
I think the challenging part is, people say they do self work, right? Self work for some people is, and it used to be for me too, which was just reading. I just read, 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 read,
Yeah, yeah,
and but never really applied the material that I read. I might have a good thought, unless it was more along the lines of thinking, right, and putting out intentions, right. That would be a little bit more active versus things that would have to take daily practice, like putting in a daily routine, or an active communication skill where you're actively listening to someone, understanding what they're saying, and making sure that they're clear on what you're saying, right. That's active. This masterclass makes you become active in every single aspect of it.
yes,
And that's where the friction lies, because I gave this analogy to somebody the other day. Let's say I decide to start fasting, right? I want to change my health and I'm going to fast. Not cold turkey, but I'm just going to fast a certain amount of time during the day. So here it is, 10:30. Your body's triggering you that you're hungry, but you're going to show discipline, and you're going to, hold steady to your fast. So your body says, "Oh, it's 10:30. We're not eating yet. All right, let's rumble a little longer." Okay, I know what we'll do. Let's give him a headache. That'll force me to eat. And then you get that headache. It's like, but you're like, nope, I'm going to do this.
yeah,
And then they say, you know what? Dang, that didn't get him. Let's put that migraine at the back of his eye right there. That's going to force him
yeah,
to eat. And then you just give up and say, look, I got to put something in my stomach, man, and
right,
lay down. And that is what our subconscious mind does to us when we want to change, right? It's pulling us back to stay the same. And
Yes.
that's why this class is very, very active. It forces you to be active versus, I read the books like the Secret. I've read Asking It Is Given. I've read all that stuff, and the power of intention is great. But you do have to have action behind it. I
Yes.
think when you accelerate it with action, then that just makes the intention much more real versus you hoping and even though you're saying you're not hoping and wishing, you really are hoping and wishing that um, uh, you get the change you want. That's the biggest thing with the class. It makes you active in every single aspect of it.
Yes. So, what would you say to someone that uh, is already a ring earner or a VIP and is not using
Yeah,
something they already have?
I would say that the game is not over, right? So um, you you hit a milestone, but there's so much more to be had because think about the peers that you're around, right? You have access to somebody like HB. You got access to RG. You got access to their folks, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? Just sit in the room and listen to them talk, and just hope that some of what they do rubs off on you because you're in the right room? Because I tell you, I did that for years in network marketing.
Yeah.
I did I did that for years in late night boot camps where I'm putting my body and my mind to a test because somebody's saying you don't want to miss what I gotta say, and the meeting is from midnight to 4 in the morning, and
Yeah.
then I'm hoping I come out of there, RVP the next 6 months, and I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So no, if you have access to this already because you're a ring earner, because you're VIP, don't let it go to waste. I wasn't ring earner or anything like that, but I had access to Andre through relationship, and it took me 2-3 years to finally jump on board, and I had access.
Yes.
So if we have access at this level, we definitely can't squander it because we don't know when things change and when access might be shut off.
Yep. Yep. And so, in finality, what would you say to the person that's watching this that has no clue, don't even know about UIGISC,
Yeah.
don't know about the master class, but hearing your story and how you've evolved, what would you say to them about taking a master class if nothing else?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do what we got to do for what we want.
Yes.
It's that simple. When Andre
Yep.
is telling me the requirements for ringer, and I'm like, hey, no way, how am I gonna do that? and then I did it, right? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which he would always say, don't worry about the how, man. You set the intention, you want to do it, just get to work. But what I would say, if you're looking at this, you don't know what the heck we're talking about when we say ringer, when we say UIGISC, when we say masterclass. Um, all I would say tell you to do is take a closer look. It's in If you're hearing this, that means that, let's go this way, you attracted it to you some kind of way, whether it was through a conversation with somebody connected or whether you wrote down in your book in 2016 about what you wanted to occur in your life. People come into our lives for a reason, a season. So if you're exposed to this, then really grab hold of it, take a closer look, and do what you can. Arthur Ashe used to say this: start where you are and do what you can with what you have.
Yeah.
Like, I love that saying about Arthur Ashe. That's what I would say to you if you're looking at this for the first time. Start where you are, do what you can with what you have. Period.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you very much. Um, I don't want to. I want to expose you to a bigger audience, but this video is going to be shared within the UIGI system, so we gotta
Yep. Cool.
keep it generic. I will say to find to find Rabu's masterclass, you can go to rabugary.com rabugary.com, RABU Gary.com, and scroll down to the masterclass. You'll find it there. You can purchase the masterclass outside of the VIP or outside of becoming a ring earner.
Yeah.
But if you are remotely interested in changing your life financially outside of the masterclass, then join the UIGISC Facebook, join our team's Facebook, get exposure as to what we're doing,
Hmm.
and become a part of this incredible community that's sharing great ideas and how to make money, how to earn money. All right. So if you would sign out for us, Al-Yassa, I look forward to seeing everybody on the other side on our next gathering. I appreciate what the work you're doing, and I look forward to more great success with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be here. Thanks so much for not giving up on me, because we got a lot of things that we can accomplish over the next few months. So appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Thanks again. This call is officially over. Good night. God bless. Take care.